Little audio check here. I'm trying to get the microphone and the mandolin all going at the same time. Let's see what we got. It looks like everything's going good. All right, here. Play some mandolin tunes, shall we? Yes. Mandolin tunes. Alternate picking. I hope you all went and did the voting thing. I don't care who you vote for. You just got to vote. I don't want to see no politics over here in my chat. If you like blue shirts or if you like red shirts, awesome. Because in reality, we've all become so divisive. We think that the other side's evil, no matter which side we're standing on. I don't want to see none of that. I don't want to see not one bit of it in the chat. I just want people to go vote. That gives us all equal footing to complain. If you vote, you're allowed to complain. If you do not vote, you're not allowed to complain. The reason I'm saying that is a lot of these tunes were written around the Revolutionary War, right? They were written around the Civil War. You know, there's a lot of this old-time Appalachian music that ties hand in hand with some of these great moments and dark moments in political history. Wars being fought and some of these Appalachian tunes being the soundtrack to those things. Songs like the 8th of January. That's the chorus's lyrics are fired my guns and the British kept a coming. Wasn't as many as there was a while ago. I think that's how it goes. That's I think the lyrics are guns and the British kept coming. Yeah, fire their guns and the British kept coming. Wasn't as many as it was a while ago. Fire their guns. I wish my granddad was here. He knew all the verses to all those old songs. Yeah, man. So songs like that, songs like Liberty. Soldier's Joy. Right. Jay here is chiming in. He says songs in the key of B flat suck on mandolin, at least for me. B flat always sounds like bluegrass to me. Keys like B flat and B. You know, those kind of keys very much sound like bluegrass. Right, it's totally like that Bill Monroe thing. So I want to talk today, not preaching at you in any way, shape, or form. I want to talk to you about these old-time bluegrass tunes and looking for shapes that work on mandolin. Now, I'm not a shape guy. I don't like the word shapes. I don't like it. But we're going to do it. We're going to talk about it today and how to make that work on mandolin if you're coming at it from a guitar player's standpoint. Now, when you look down at the mandolin from a guitar player's standpoint, everything looks tiny. It looks like you're like, how in the world can I play this neck and make my fingers fit? Well, it's probably because you're using incorrect hand positions. The hand positions on mandolin, they lay out, tend to just look like this to me. In some way, shape, or form, they kind of just like if you just put your hand onto it. I think of mandolin as two main positions. That's the way that my brain sees it. Now, of course, we can do that and get up there, but let's just talk about the two main positions. We're going to talk about the key of D. A lot of fiddle tunes are in D and G. The key of A would be a lot of fiddle tunes, but old-time tunes tend to be in the key of D because you have this droning thing. Real, almost like claw hammer banjo, if you're familiar with that thing. Kind of had that sound, you know. You know, that's like a very claw hammer kind of way of approach to the mandolin. We're in the key of D. I'm going to walk you through the major scale and how it looks on the mandolin. You're going to have the opportunity to use as many open strings as possible. Jay was mentioning how B flat sucks because you don't get a lot of open strings. You get the D. You get the open G, right? You can get an open. It could be there if you want the A, but in general, we're going to talk about the key of D because you have every string is open. That's all. Okay, so let's start with the open D string. And mainly the biggest thing if you're starting out on mandolin is projection, getting a good tone, and getting a good sound out of the instrument. That's going to be the most rewarding thing that's going to keep you playing. If it sounds plinky, you're not going to want to keep playing. I very lightly anchor behind the mandolin. behind the bridge. And I mean, it's not really anchored, but it's just grazing it. So let's walk up the major scale, and all we're going to focus on is trying to get good tone. I'm going to speak intervallically, but if you'll notice the fingering that I use, there's the 2 dots. You can't really see that first one. It's kind of so much playing has been taking place, but this dot right here, if you see the top of the fretboard, you know, that's going to be where the 3rd finger lies most of the time in first position. In second position, I'm going to put the 1st finger there. Now, when I drone, I'll use either the pinky or the 3rd finger. You see how the movements in the left hand, very, very subtle. It's just like 2 main movements that I'm using most of the time for the key of D. I'm not looking at it the way guitar players look at it, which is chunk, 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 chunk. It's not like that. Whereas guitar, you know, the hand, I've got my guitar right here. You know, the hand can only deal with so much at a time. So you've got to have way more positions on guitar. So just a physically much bigger instrument. So with the mandolin, we're just going to talk about moving the hand twice, right? So let's take this major scale. Let's walk it up in 1 position in 1 octave. So we're going to have root, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. So we get the open D string and the open A string. And I'm alternate picking through everything, and I'm trying to just project and get nice tone. Now, if I play down on the G string, I'm going to start from the 4. 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then 5, 6, 7, 1. And then 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now on this position, let's jump up and play this next octave. So we're going to put our 1st finger where our 3rd finger was. Right? Okay, so now let's learn our first fiddle tune. This fiddle tune is called Angeline the Baker. It's one of my favorite ones. I played just a few minutes, played a little bit of it a few minutes ago. I'm going to play it through one time so you can hear it, and then we'll take a breakdown of it. And it's going to be using just this first position. If you look through there, your triad is going to be a 1, major 3, 5, 1, major 3, 5. Yeah. That's going to be like the whole thing of it, right? So let's play a little bit of Angeline the Baker. It's a really simple tune, simple arrangement right there. Not a lot of flash in the pan, just very simple. So as a pretty tune, though, I really love this tune. It's old kind of Revolutionary War, Revolutionary War era kind of tune. You could definitely tell it's got the Appalachian, the settlers from Celtic regions, Scotland, Ireland, Highland kind of settlers came over. Irish fiddle tunes made their way into Appalachia. This is the result of that amalgamation of it all, right? So let's start out with just the melody on single strings. We're going to walk up to D from the 5. So that's it's 5, 6, 1, and then again. Get that bounce in there. 3, 4. And that is a big octave jump on the 4 chord. Now we're going to have the back half of it. And that's just a tag that I like. These fiddle tunes have multiple different styles of tags. This kind of moment right here is what really was fundamental in improving my alternate picking. This stuff made me a strong alternate picker because I'm having to play on the inside of the string sets, coming down the string set with an upstroke. Down, up, down, up, down. So those string movements, I'm coming down the string sets with an upstroke. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Keep in mind, when I'm playing this melody, I'm keeping this kind of thing going in my head. And I'm not stopping and playing downstrokes. It's not that thing. It's like this is kind of permanently going. Even though I don't hit the string. Right? And that tone is coming from the mandolin being resonant. It's a little bit off my body. I've also got this cage on the back to keep the belly of the mandolin away from my belly. And that's improving the tone, in my opinion. Just that lick right there is a great one to work on for the string crossing thing. Now I'm going to open that up and get that strum going. Now the second part is focused around the 5, but we're still playing over the 1. Like that. So we're walking up to the 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pickup notes. To the 4 chord. So let's play the tune together. You can rewind this if you like. You cannot if you don't want to. I'm going to turn on the old metronome. Maybe right here. A nice bounce. kind of colorful. Let's back it off just a little bit, some of you beginners. You play. Oh, nice, simple stuff. It is challenging sometimes just to play that slow and keep it in the pocket. I tend to want to play things fast. Great little tune there. I'm going to answer some questions now for you. Haven't played that one in many years. Just kind of noodling around on the old Roanoke. Here, let's dig in. Let's dig in on some Q&A stuff. Hope everyone's doing well today. Hey, Andy, what a coincidence. I've been gobbling up all of the mandolin content I could, and here you are. Lo and behold, here we are. Here we go. Yeah. Daly's Reel. I need to revisit Daly's Reel. I can't think of how that melody goes off the top of my head. Okay, Wadey says, my father catered the Threshers reunion in Denton every year back in the day. One year, the tornado came through, tore the trailer to shreds, but always great bluegrass music and players there. Yeah. Jamesville says, watching this is a lot more fun than watching the news. Hey, no kidding, right? Let's all be thankful for what we got here today. And for bluegrass and Appalachian music and good music in general. You know, it's like that's the blessings we got, and people can argue and bicker and go back and forth, or we can agree to disagree sometimes and just let that be okay. You know, let's just let that be okay. Bluegrass isn't for everyone. You know, I'd love to sit here and say bluegrass is the genre for the people, you know, but a lot of people may not like it. A lot of people want to hear Metallica, and that's okay too. I like it all. So here we go. Josh is saying, hey, Andy, Still digging the VP4. Did it replace your Keeley Halo for your main delay sound? Josh, I don't think replace is the right answer. I think it's an alternate version. VP4 is a way that I can have a lot of the tricks and trinkets from my big board down on a small version. It's way more of a throw and go fly rig, but yeah, I love it and it sounds fantastic. So yeah, I mean, I don't really look at replacing as anything. To me, it's adding to, right? Like you can look at my amps and my cabinets behind me. I'm very much a guy that wants options and versatility. So I think if you only have a limited budget, I think VP4 can be a great substitute for having a board like my main boards. Man, they're thousands of dollars in gear, thousands. And, you know, you got Strymons on there and Halos and gearboxes and all this stuff. It's like the VP4 now can shrink that down. So if you're looking to, you know, assimilate some of my tones and you don't have the budget, I think VP4 is definitely the answer. So Papal Jams is saying, Andy, I can see how you developed your clinically insane technique. Muscle memory, dexterity has to be off the charts. Play that. I appreciate that. It is. And again, so much of what you're talking about isn't chasing technique for technique's sake, is chasing the tone. I was having a great lesson with my Patreon member, Jay. If you guys are interested in taking part of the lessons, I offer monster tier lessons, which is you get one lesson a month with me at the monster tier on Patreon. And those are first come, first serve. So I only have a couple of slots available for those at the moment. So if you're interested in trying that, Jay and I were doing a lesson, and he was talking about his upstrokes, not having a lot of confidence. I actually dissected, I hope Jay doesn't mind me talking about this. I noticed that he was putting so much emphasis on his first note to play through, like that was sticky to him. Like a tune like Soldier's Joy, where you got to descend the string set with an upstroke. To me, I'm using that first note as a springboard to knock me upwards. So I'm not thinking about playing, let me clarify this. I'm not thinking about playing through the string so much as using that first one to launch me in the other direction. Yeah. So if we were to play that at light speed, I don't know what light speed is. Let's just crank up the metronome to stupid. So that's like at what? I don't know. What was that at? Like 176-ish. So, you know, my metronome just kind of it has odd skips and numbers. It's like 152, 158, 162, 165. Like it jumps. It's not even. So that was 176, like hovering around 180. And at that point, I still had to do this awkward thing where I'm moving the inside of that thing, the inside of the strings. I mean, what is the top speed on that? I don't know. That's over 200. Yeah, that's dumb. That's it. 204. Yeah, it's dumb. And nobody plays that fast, right? So like you get that thing up around 200 and it's just stupid. But The idea is that you're using that downstroke to launch you in the other direction, that you're going, right? So I'm trying to descend the string set. Let me think of a good example. Like Liberty would be a good example too, or Fisher's Hornpipe. Let's do Fisher's Hornpipe. Right here. That thing. So let's try that again. Here. This line. Yeah. Okay. So that's kind of the thing that I think of when I'm thinking about playing through the string sets versus using the strings as springboards to get back off of the string. A great example of this would be why bluegrass guitarists and bluegrass mandolin players like to have heavier gauge strings than normal. Like mandolins are kind of like medieval crossbows as far as the tension of the instrument and how tight the strings are. There's extreme, when you break a string on a mandolin, it sounds like a shotgun. It's just, its tension is very high on here. But it makes the mandolin like bounce, makes the strings bounce off, bounce off of it. Like that Red Apple Rag has a lot of that thing going on with it, with the directional picking, right? And how to get in and out of those string sets. It's a really long conversation to be had when it comes to defining, not defining, but improving your picking technique and getting clarity and projection and good tone out of the instrument. And it's something that takes a long time. It takes years. That kind of sucks to hear because we're like, oh man, I wish I could do it today. Well, you can, and you can start today. You can start the momentum forward of improving your tone and your playing today, like right now. And then you will get better, right? So it's just something for to keep in mind, in that you're not going to be able to solve these issues in 6 months. That's not the way it works. But what you can do in 6 months is have a catalog of simple fiddle tunes under your fingertips. And that's something that really helps the picking process improve. Like if you can't play Roanoke at light speed, right? Maybe you can just work on the head as something to familiarize yourself with the scales of the key of G. I mean, that's the head right there. And that's just kind of down the scale. That's like the whole head. Okay, here we go. Diego says, Andy, do you use a mandolin pick versus a guitar pick? Yeah, let me show you the difference. I'll show you 2 picks. They're both from the company Blue Chip. They're my favorite picks, but because they're so expensive, I often tour with these Diodario Black Ice picks. So that's typically what I use on electric guitar. The Diodario and the Blue Chip are the same size, which is nice. So the Black Ice pick is the same size as the Blue Chip pick. There's the Black Ice. You see how they're nice and neat into each other. It's the same thing. Here's the Blue Chip. They make mine with those holes in the middle so I can hang on to it. I really love this pick for electric guitar. Sounds great. And then on mandolin, let's hold the Black Ice up to it. You can see how much bigger my mandolin pick is than my guitar pick. So the mandolin pick has a lot more curvage, a lot more corners on it. It's a big triangle. It's like a big boat paddle. But that's, to me, is getting a lot of tone into the instrument. So yeah, you know, if I play it with the electric guitar pick, it's so much softer versus the Blue Chip. All of that woody projection is now out there. Now the same licks on the... It's so much softer, right? Than the Blue Chip. It's been a long time since I played that one. Woo! I need to revisit the old brilliancy. Many moons have passed since I have delved into brilliancy. The old Sam Bush classic. Okay. Carson says, how does the quality of the bridge affect the action and the tone? Actually, it does a lot. And this one has a pickup on it. As you could see, this is a Fishman pickup. And I noticed that the volume dropped down just a little bit, you know, with the Fishman versus the actual Collings bridge. But, you know, you got to have a pickup. And this is my main live mandolin for playing with pickup. So I had to have it. So it does affect it like anything else. When you start monkeying around with the item that actually touches the strings, whether that be the nut or the bridge or even the tailpiece being off of the instrument. Like if you can tell, right there, shit. Let's see right there. If you can see that tailpiece, you see that tailpiece right there, like right here. You see how you can see my finger underneath it? That thing needs to be, you don't want anything touching the body of this mandolin because it's just going to eliminate the resonance. Now this cage doesn't touch the back of the mandolin. The only parts it touches like where the rubber grips are right there. And that allows that whole backside to ring true and ring free. See what I mean? There's nothing touching that. So like when you play and it's up against my body, that's still ringing true. It's not, the mandolin's not pressed against my belly or my chest or whatever. So all of those things, Carson, factor in heavily to just improving mandolin tone. And I recommend these. I got this from Banjo Ben, and I recommend these things if you got a cheap mandolin or if you got an expensive mandolin or whatever. Like these cages, they're great. And even if you got just like a cheap Kentucky or something like that, or an Alvarez, I'd still put this cage on there and get the most resonance out of it. Lucas is saying, hey, Andy, glad I got to catch this. Just started playing mandolin again. Yeah. All you Patreon members right now that are watching this, I'm going to be putting up a mandolin lesson for you guys. Kind of just walking through some scales and shapes and simple things to help you on your journey, getting started. You know what I mean? Like a very beginner kind of thing. Eric is saying, what kind of mandolin is this? This is a Collings. I think this is called the MFer. This is the MF5. And this has been my main touring mandolin for a while. It just sounds great. And those guys at Collings really know how to build a great bluegrass instrument. They really know what they're doing. So, yeah. Jeremy says, God bless the internet, getting mandolin lessons here. It's real, Jeremy. We're doing it. We're doing it together, brother. Okay, Jay is saying, I was just looking at Brian Sutton's version of Roanoke. Let's just take a listen to it. Well, we'll get a copyright strike if we do, so let's not do that. Ben Winstead, hope you're doing well, Ben. He says, don't get mad at me, but can you tab it out right now? I actually cannot tab it right now because we're doing a live stream. But what I can do is play the chords for the improv. I'm assuming you're talking about Angeline the Baker. Let me grab the guitar. And I'll play through on guitar here. This is the old D45. Yeah, cool guitar. Let's play through Angeline the Baker, and so you can have something to play through. Go again. Yeah. So there's your chord progression and your comping to go back and maybe even just loop that if you like and have that to play through. All right. So that's for Ben. It's in the key of D. And how do you play over the chords for the improv? I mean, for me, it's just very much about just acknowledging that G, that 4 chord when it comes around. So we have right there. You know, to me, it's just kind of floating around the key of D the whole time until it's time to hit that 4 chord and being really aware and confident of where that 4 chord falls. That's so much of it. And, very much like in jazz, really acknowledging the chord changes, right? So that's for Ben. Okay, Sebastian here says, greetings from Germany. Cheers to Germany. I'm a big fan, signature stuff. How would you describe the difference between the Thornbuckers and the Woodbuckers? Why only available in silver? Thanks. Actually, that's not true. The Woodbuckers should be available in all guitars as the default pickup selection, okay? So I don't know if you're saying why only available in silver as if the nickel cover is the only thing. That's because the nickel cover affects the sound, in my opinion, and I think the nickel cover is the best. The big difference is Thornbuckers are A5 magnet, Alnico 5, and the Woodbuckers Alnico 2 magnet. So it's a little darker, a little rounder kind of sound. Something I really like a lot. So yeah, A2 magnet in those. Carson, how you doing? Flip says, how you doing? I'm doing great, man. Blessed. Another blessed day, man. Matt Carr says, hey, Andy, I enjoy your artist works. I highly recommend that for some fast picking runs. Well, cheers, man. Cheers, Matt. I appreciate that. I know that Artist Works and True Fire and all those companies and Jam Tracks, a lot of those companies had merged together, which is really cool to have a one-stop shop for a lot of those items. Wes is in the house. Wes, he says, Andy, have you ever thought about putting some effects on the mandolin? Maybe pull a Cobain and throw it through a distortion. I mean, we can listen to that. We can see what that actually sounds like. Let's see what it sounds like with distortion. Who knows? I don't know. Let's put it in the Axe Effects and see what that's going to do. Let's pull up the Axe Effects editor and just have the default Andy Clean thing going on. This should be funny. I have no idea what this is going to do. There it is. It's actually not bad. That's not bad, right? It's kind of weird. It's okay with the clean. Let's see what this other stuff sounds like. It could sound like craziness. Here's a crunch setting. I mean, that's rock mandolin. I mean, I guess it is what it is. It's not really the greatest thing in the world. Not the worst, but hey, now we've done it. Now we did it. We did it together. So whatever that means, we did it. Okay, cool. Billy Wagner says, I own a D28 or a D2H and a 290 DC. Collings makes some very fine planks. Indeed, man. Yeah, no question. Jay says I need the whiskey barrel and the Mando caster. That would be really fun, man. Not sure if you're in Appalachia, but if you lost instruments in Helene, there's a program to replace them, or you can help donate to get the instruments to people. Eric, if you're still in the chat here and you're still in the live stream, luckily I dodged all that stuff. I am in East Tennessee, but we didn't get hit with any of the flooding like that. But if you wouldn't mind, Eric, just put that in the chat, and maybe even better if you have that link. Put that in the comments section of the live stream, not just in the chat that's happening right now. That way people can find it if they stumble across it. Sounds pretty interesting, clean. Cliffs of the Old Rugged Cross. Billy Wagner. I like that. Yngwie Mandolin is a good one too. Yeah, it's pretty funny. Yngwie Mandolin is a really good one. I like that. Dredge used the dulcimer with a humbucker through a distortion pedal as parts of the sound. Oh, nice. So Sebastian says, okay, they updated it. Meanwhile, on the Sir homepage, it's been a while since I've looked it up. Thanks. Oh, talking about the pickups. Yeah. Okay, so let's hit one more little thing, one more lesson thing. I'm going to walk you through the key of G right here. That's the kind of the G position that you would use to play a lot of the fiddle tunes out of the key of G. Now, one thing that's going to be most common with bluegrass is you're not going to have this dominant 7 a lot of times. It's going to be a flat 7 a lot. That's a little bit more of the bluegrass sound. Let's talk about what makes that up. So when I see the root and I see my third, I'm going to outline it with 4 and flat 3. That sound right there. Very bluesy, right? It's where Bill Monroe would like lift a lot of that type of language and put it on the mandolin. Let me walk you through those chord tones as I would see them in a bluegrass environment. So we have root, 2, flat 3, 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7, 1. That kind of sound, right? So now let's go up to the next one where we have root 2, flat 3, 3, 4, flat 5, 5. I like that sound. All those kind of sounds, right? Those kind of licks where it's like, now let's take it up to the highest string. That approach note on the third really makes a big difference, right? Sorry. Got tongue-tied. Bunch of chromatics in there, right? But I'm still seeing target points. Like that, right? It's target notes. Yeah. Now these all keep going. But we're going to get into that later on, right? We'll get into the position shifts later on. I think it's important to have the sonic palette of just the major scale with the major 7. right? And that's where that picking, that fluidity comes from. And then with the moving the third round. You know, that kind of thing right there. Okay, that's gonna kind of get us going here for today. I'm gonna make a quick lesson here for my Patreon members. Patreon.com/AndyWoodMusic. If you are interested in improving your playing, taking it up a notch, and having access to 600 videos on Patreon, we've got all that. We've got live master classes that take place weekly. And then, of course, the monster tier members that are one-on-ones. We have all of that accessible to you at patreon.com/AndyWoodMusic. If you are interested in seeing the brand new video to Master Gracie's Manor or Free Range Chicken, any of the new tunes, if you want access to the album, tone packs, backing tracks, tablatures, all of that good stuff is at andywoodmusic.com. So we will be having some new merch soon, thanks to Chuck and Team AW. We've got new merch on the way. We're going to have some sweatshirts and hoodies and t-shirts and hats and all kinds of good trinkets to purchase going along with the new album and the new music videos. So again, thank you so much for hanging out. Hit that like button is what Jeremy says. Smash it. Get in there, smash and mash it. I'm going to be hanging out today, putting together this next video for the Patreon members and practicing. I've got something else I'm working on, which is right here. I'm going to knock some dust off of this thing, trying to improve my fiddle chops. Yeah, you know, I kind of poke around at it, but I want to be a better fiddle player, so I'm going to be working on it. And yeah, with that said, kids, be blessed. If you have voted today, I applaud you. If you've not voted, get off your butt and go do it. I don't care if you're blue or red, just go vote. The only reason you can complain is if you vote. If you don't vote, I don't want to hear no complaining, okay? So with that said, be blessed, everyone. Remember, there's great people, really good people voting blue today. There's really good people voting red today. If we can agree on anything, let's agree on disagreeing. Sometimes you like red shirts. Sometimes you like blue shirts. There's good people on both sides of the aisle. There's bad people on both sides of the aisle. The aisle does not define you, okay? So let's just be positive today. Be that person that can influence the people around you, you know? When you're out in public, be the positive influence, you know? Let's start with us. Be blessed. We will see you guys real soon.